Konnichiwa minasan. O genki desu ka? Welcome to the advanced course of my channel. Let's learn Japanese with Eric. In this lesson, we'll study how to express personal observations and hearsay using "そうだ." Yoroshii desu ka? Hajimemashou. In this lesson, we'll learn how to express personal observations in Japanese, such as these kinds of sentences. It seems like it'll snow. Perhaps you look up at the sky and see snowflakes starting to fall and make such an observation. Or that cake looks delicious. You see the dark chocolate glazing and you right away form an opinion that the cake looks delicious. We'll also learn how to form sentences based on hearsay, such as, I heard that it'll snow, or according to Mary, that cake is delicious. In Japanese, the formula for expressing personal observations is to take the conjunctive form of an adjective or verb and simply adding "そうだ" to it. And to express hearsays or statements based on second-hand information, you simply form a full sentence with the ending in plain style and to it add "そうだ." The "da" in the endings is the plain form of "des." With personal observations, you can make only non-past sentences, meaning you can only make personal observations about the present and the future. You can't use this formula to form personal observations based on past occurrences. However, you can make hearsay sentences based on non-past and past occurrences. Let's look at the formula closely for personal observations. As we mentioned earlier, we take the conjunctive form and add "そうだ." We have four kinds of words to which this is possible: e and na adjectives, verbs, and nouns. So, for an e adjective, say for example, takai, expensive, drop the e ending and to the conjunctive form taka, you add so to form takasouda. It looks expensive. For a na adjective, example, genki na, meaning healthy, drop the na and to the root genki, add so to form genki souda, meaning it looks healthy. For verbs, say for example, taberu, to eat, drop the ru and to the conjunctive tabe, add so to form tabesouda. It looks like he or she will eat. This is the rule for ru dropping verbs, but for last hiragana changing verbs and irregular verbs, the rules for forming the conjunctive form are a bit different, and you can review these in lessons 26 to 30. For nouns, to say that something looks like something, we take the noun, say kuruma or car, and add no yo to form kuruma no yoda, meaning it looks like a car. To form hearsay sentences is much simpler. It's simply the sentence in plain style ending, whether past or non-past, and you add soda. So again, we have these types of sentence endings. So for takai, that becomes takai soda. I heard it's expensive. For genki na, that becomes genki da soda. I heard he or she is healthy. For a verb, taberu, that becomes taberu soda. I heard that he or she will eat. And for a noun, say kuruma, that becomes kuruma da soda. I heard it is a car. Now, let's look at both personal observations and hearsays in parallel sentences. Let's start with a verb example. It will snow. Yuki ga furu. Personal observation. It looks like it'll snow. Yuki ga furisou desu. Yuki ga furisou desu. Hearsay. I heard it'll snow. Yuki ga furusou desu. Yuki ga furu so desu. Furisou for personal observation and furusou for hearsay. Another verb example, Keiko will cry. Keiko-chan ga naku. Personal observation. It looks like Keiko will cry. Keiko-chan ga nakisou desu. Keiko-chan ga nakisou desu. For hearsay, let's use past tense. I heard that Keiko cried. Keiko-chan ga naita sou desu. Keiko-chan ga naita sou desu. Nakisou, personal observation, and naita sou for hearsay. An e-adjective example. that sushi is delicious. あの寿司はおいしいです。Personal observation. That sushi looks delicious. あの寿司はおいしそうです。あの寿司はおいしそうです。For hearsay, I heard that sushi is delicious. あの寿司はおいしいそうです。あの寿司はおいしいそうです。おいしそう for personal observation and おいしいそう for hearsay. Another e-adjective example. Canada is cold. カナダは寒いです。Personal observation. Canada looks cold. カナダは寒そうです。カナダは寒そうです。Hearsay. I heard that Canada is cold. カナダは寒いそうです。カナダは寒いそうです。寒そう for personal observation and 寒いそう for hearsay. Na-adjective example. Tokyo is lively. 東京は賑やかだ。Personal observation. Tokyo looks lively. 東京は賑やかそうだ。東京は賑やかそうだ。Hearsay. I heard that Tokyo is lively. 東京は賑やかだそうだ。東京は賑やかだそうだ。賑やかそう for personal observation and 賑やかだそう for hearsay. Another na-adjective example. The test is simple. 試験は簡単です。Personal observation. The test seems simple. 試験は簡単そうです。試験は簡単そうです。Hearsay. Let's use a past tense sentence. I heard that the test was simple. 試験は簡単だったそうです。試験は簡単だったそうです。So we have 簡単そう for personal observation and 簡単だったそう for hearsay. A noun example. He is Japanese. 彼は日本人だ。Personal observation. He seems Japanese. 彼は日本人のようだ。彼は日本人のようだ。Hearsay. I heard he is Japanese. 彼は日本人だそうだ。彼は日本人だそうだ。日本人のよう personal observation. 日本人だそう hearsay. Another noun example. This is a rice cake. これはお餅です。Personal observation. This is like a rice cake. これはお餅のようです。これはお餅のようです。Hearsay. I heard this is a rice cake. これはお餅だそうです。これはお餅だそうです。お餅のよう personal observation. お餅だそう hearsay. For hearsay sentences, we sometimes say the source of the information, and it's expressed using the pattern X ni yoru to, which means according to X. For example, according to the news, it'll rain tomorrow. ニュースによると、明日雨が降るそうです。ニュースによると、明日雨が降るそうです。Another example. According to the teacher, Jiro isn't coming in today. 先生によると、ジロー君は今日来ないそうです。先生によると、ジロー君は今日来ないそうです。A small quirk for the e-adjective e or yoi, meaning good, personal observation is 良さそう。For example, this second-hand car looks good. この中古車は良さそうです。この中古車は良さそうです。Now let's look at how to form negative personal observations, starting with adjectives. X doesn't seem to be なんとかなんとか. With adjectives, we take the nai form and turn nai to なさそう. For example, the adjective 高い, expensive, negative 高くない, and that changes to 高くなさそう. It doesn't seem to be expensive. You also have the option to say 高そうではない. In this case, we conjugate the da in 高そうだ into 高そうではない。Example, 忙しい busy. Miss Tanaka doesn't seem busy. 田中さんは忙しくなさそうです。田中さんは忙しくなさそうです。Or, 田中さんは忙しそうではありません。田中さんは忙しそうではありません。A na-adjective example, healthy or well is 元気な。ジロー doesn't seem well. ジロー君は元気じゃなさそう。ジロー君は元気じゃなさそう。Or, ジロー君は元気そうではない。ジロー君は元気そうではない。For verbs to say seem to not do or doesn't seem to do, we take the conjunctive form of the verb and attach to it そうにない or そうもない。For example, 食べる to eat, conjunctive form 食べ, that becomes 食べそうにない or 食べそうもない。He or she doesn't seem to eat. For example, the verb to read, 読む. It seems that Aiko won't read the book. Aiko さんは本を読みそうもない。Aiko さんは本を読みそうもない。Or, Aiko さんは本を読みそうにない。Aiko さんは本を読みそうにない。One exception with verbs is the negative of the verb aru, to exist, which is ない, doesn't exist. The negative form is なさそう. なさそう, much like it were an adjective. So to say, there seems to be nothing inside the box. 箱の中には何もなさそうです。箱の中には何もなさそうです。Now, when we add na to so for personal observation, we form so na, which acts like a na-adjective. And using this construction, we can now describe nouns. Let's have a verb example. To topple is 倒れる. The Leaning Tower of Pisa has a shape like it will topple. We use the so na construction to say like it will topple or seem like it will topple. In Japanese, ピサの斜塔は倒れそうな形をしています。ピサの斜塔は倒れそうな形をしています。形をしています is one of the patterns we use to describe visual perceptions, a topic you can review in lesson 83. Example with an E adjective. Wow, that's a delicious looking cake. We use the so na construction to say delicious looking. Japanese, わあ、おいしそうなケーキ。わあ、おいしそうなケーキ。Na-adjective example. Quiet is 静かな. Quiet-looking Hayato town is near the mountain. We use the so na construction to say quiet-looking. In Japanese, 静かそうなHayato町は山の近くにあります。静かそうなHayato町は山の近くにあります。And with the noun, we use the pattern なおのような. Let's use Ferrari. Cars like the Ferrari seem expensive. We use the ような construction to say cars like the Ferrari. In Japanese, フェラーリのような車は高そうです。フェラーリのような車は高そうです。To summarize this lesson, to express personal observations, it seems なんとかなんとか, we take the conjunctive form of adjectives and verbs, and to them we add そうだ. With this formula, we can only form personal observations about the present and future, but not the past. For nouns, the format is noun no yo, and adding na to so forms so na, and it lets us make na-adjective-like words. To say it doesn't seem, for adjectives and the verb nai only, the nai becomes nasa so. For verbs, to say seems like won't do, we take the conjunctive form of the verb and add so ni nai or so mo nai. For nouns, we say noun no yo de wa nai. To make hearsay sentences, I heard that nantoka is way much simpler. We say the full sentence with the ending in plain style and add soda. Unlike personal observations, we can form hearsay sentences about past and non-past occurrences. And often in hearsay sentences, we say the source of the information, the source of the hearsay. In this case, we use the pattern X ni yoru to, which means according to X. And this ends our lesson on how to express personal observations and hearsay in Japanese. お疲れ様でした。If you're serious about becoming fluent in Japanese, it's important to practice daily. Learn grammar and build up vocabulary. My whole course is designed to give you a strong basic foundation in the Japanese language that you can build solidly upon. So please click like, share, or subscribe and watch the next video in the series. 日本語の勉強に頑張ってください。じゃあ、またね。